everybody doing? Got a little bit of stuff to share with you. Been dealing with an issue with Toyota. Well, Legends Toyota Scion of Kansas City for since the 5th of April. We bought a 2022 Tacoma up there because our son was parts guy, and they give us a pretty decent price on it being family members and everything. Okay, but that was the end of the good. Nothing else good come after that. We bought a set of 20-inch tires and wheels from the parts store up there, put on it. We bought a backflip bed cover, G2 series, which I ended up putting on because of what I'm about to tell you. And then they give our boy a grill, what I call the honeycomb style grill, because my wife liked it. So there was one laying there in the parts room. Son showed it to my wife. She liked it much better than the grill that was in the truck. And so parts manager give it to my boy, and we had them put it in. Well, their tech don't know what the fuck he was doing. You've got to remove the front bumper cover and all to pull the grill surround out, to get the grill out and back in without tearing shit up. And evidently he didn't know shit because he tried to pry the grill surround out on the passenger side and tore the top edge of the bumper cover up in a place about 4 inches long. Clear through the paint, gouged into the plastic, fucked it up pretty bad. Okay. Now, we go up to get the truck. They didn't bother disclosing to us the damage. We're signing paperwork and everything, and right in the middle of signing all the paperwork, I went out and did a walk around. Well, my son had already seen it, but they were so busy back there where he was at, he didn't have time to come out and say anything, and I wasn't going to go back and bother him either, because I wasn't aware of it. But I found it when we did the walk around, and I went in and said something not once but twice, and got ignored till after all the paperwork was done. And then they said, well, make an appointment, bring it back, we'll make it right. So I entrusted the fact that they'd make it right. They didn't. The service manager called my wife, and then he called me and told me the same thing he told her. This is what he said anyway. And he come at me with this, the following. For a cost of $300 to the dealership, we can raise that up a little bit, touch it up, and then when you come back into 5,000 miles for your first service, we can address it further. Or for $600 cost to the dealership, we repaint the whole bumper cover. So, you know, son's parts guy, don't rock the boat kind of thing, kind of give him a chance. We went with the $300 deal, which wasn't costing us nothing, and I told him that. And then he had the nerve to ask me what I would charge to fix it. And I said, no, you're not pushing your liability off on me. I know where you're trying to go with this. And I said, you're pissing me off. Okay. Well, they sent it up to B Street right up there behind him. And my grandson, who is 5, could have done a better job with a can of fucking Krylon and a bottle of whiteout. It looked like shit. So then they're like, all right, where do you want to send it to get painted? You can go to B Street, Car Star, which is fucking Earl Scheib in my book, or Randy Kernow GMC. I said, send it down to Kernow. I don't even want to deal with the other two. I've seen their work on your vehicles. I don't want nothing to do with them. So they sent it down to Kernow to repaint the bumper cover, which they didn't. They repainted the passenger corner, and it looked like a big bleach spot. The paint didn't match. It looked like shit. You could see the line where they just taped the clear line off, and you could see the clear line. They didn't even try to hide it. They didn't even clear the inside lip and the wheel arch on the bumper cover. They painted over dirt. It looked like shit. I blew my stack at this point. So they get kind of pissy. I get real pissy. So they decide, okay, we're going to order a whole new bumper cover and all the shit that goes on it, send it down there and have it repainted. After they tried to take one off another truck and put on it that was sitting on the lot, another brand new truck that was white, but it had a big scuff mark on it, go figure. So they couldn't do that, so they sent it down to get it repainted. I'm supposed to go down and look at a spray out of the paint before they do it. They didn't do that either. They were going to scan the truck and take the color off the truck this time so the paint would match. They didn't do that either. Fucking insurance company shoot it and boot it mentality is all they had down at Kernow. And but the lifetime warranty that they give on it, well, they're going to get to redo it at least one more time. So we go to Toyota. Toyota's like third party dealership. We can't do nothing really other than mediate. I said, okay. So I went to Baxter Auto Group's HR. They kind of did the same thing, backpedaled it back to the dealership. I said, all right, well, fuck both of you, because basically you're telling me you give the dealership full run to screw people however they see fit. I said, here's the problem I got with the whole fucking thing. You knew it had damage. At that point, the truck's damaged. You didn't disclose the damage before you sold us the truck. You waited till the paperwork, the ink wasn't even dry yet. Then something was said about it and we'll fix it. That's fraud. I said, and every phone call I recorded. Every time I went over there, I took that phone right there like it is now in my bibs in the top pocket and I turn it on. I can black my screen out so nothing touches the screen, you know, to stop or start the video, because sometimes stuff on your clothing will do that. Nope. And I recorded everything. It took me 5 takes because my timer had run out, and I had to upload it to my Google file and then start recording again. But I got everything the day we bought the truck and the 3 times I went over there to deal with them. Then they know they're dealing with me. And then they sucked my wife in and had her rush from work over to pick it up the last time and rush back to work and then said, well, you accepted it. We're not doing nothing else. So all they want to do is either buy us out of the truck, less $5,500 depreciation, or we live with it. Toyota wants them to trade us out of the truck, which is basically they take the truck back, put us in another truck, but they won't do it, which is all right. Because we had... Let's see. We've had 2 other people call us and talk to us about work over there. And then the day it all escalated, they started talking mad shit on me and my wife. Saying shit like, oh, I'm just looking at a fucking optical illusions, how they were put it. They said some very unpleasant things. My son heard all of it. He told him, look, I ain't working for a place like this that treats people this way and screws people over. He quit. Which is cool, because he turned right around, walked into a job at another dealership that evening. He wasn't fired. He wasn't out of work for more than 30 minutes. And another dealership guy called him, said, hey, come up here, work my parts department. More money, no weekends, better benefits, better bonuses and stuff. So he went right back to work the next day. But the whole shit show over this. The first 30 days we owned the truck, they had it for 14. It was so bad, Toyota, they're like, well, don't even pay your first month's payment, it's on us. I'm like, well, there ain't no payment to pay. The truck's ours. So, anyhow, we're dealing with that. We've since got an attorney. My son's got an attorney as well, and we're going to see what we can do to him. Because I'm not going for that shit. And the only thing I'll accept at this point is they take her out of the fucking truck and put her in another truck. That's it. They can't fix it. They've had 3 chances to fix it. So it ain't really what we wanted. We wanted a 4-door. She got an extended cab. We wanted magnetic gray. She ended up getting second choice, which is white. But because they wouldn't go to another dealership and get a truck. Because they didn't want to pay the other dealership for the truck. So, fuck them. We're going to take care of them. Now on this, you've seen a little video clip of me being mean to it, more or less. You can see me blowing the tires off of it, first gear, second gear, third gear. 12 pounds is what it was making. I set the rev limiter at 5,200 to kind of be nice to it till we got shit sorted out. Well, we got shit sorted out. We took it all the way up to 20 pounds of boost. I didn't go any more than that because I run 8 psi to the carburetor as a base setting. My fuel pump is a ProStar 500 by MagnaFuel. It makes 30 psi. You already got 8 plus 20, that's 28. I'm 2 pounds away from maxing out the fuel pump. I wasn't going to go that way and take a chance on something happening to go lean or whatever. I dialed it back to 17. That's where it's at now. The truck is an absolute flipping monster on 17 pounds. Okay? You got to remember, 509 inches. The motor makes 730 horsepower NA. Then you throw 17 pounds of boost at it. So now you know what it makes NA, 730. It makes a lot more torque. I can't remember all that, but I can go in and look at the paperwork, and one of these days I'll show it to you. But before it come home with this intake and a single 950 on it, it made 730, just over 730 at the crank. So, you know, which ain't bad out of 509 inches, but it's also not pump gas friendly. The compression's way too high for pump gas, even NA. So, we switched fuels from the 105 octane Sunoco Evo 10 stuff that's oxygenated. We're now running 108 octane, 12% oxygenated, unleaded in it. I've given it a little more timing. Pretty much everything went perfect. There's no oil in the catch cans or anything else, and I'll show you something here. Turn the light on. Right down there's a -10 fitting that comes out of the intake valley, okay, for a breather. It comes right up to this can. There wasn't a drop of oil in this can. It didn't push anything out, any gaskets. It didn't swap fluids, all compression. I checked everything because I was pretty mean to it on 17, 20 pounds. I ain't shitting you. All of it's good. Everything's good. No water, no oil, none of that shit. It did perfectly fine, which it should for what's in it. We already switched the transmission out. I took that level 4 out that I put in there from FTI because I figured 1,000 horsepower. It's rated to 900. I figured, okay, I'm good. But as things progressed and I knew what was coming, we thought about it. Tax time come around, wife said, go ahead and do it. I went to FTI. I ordered a level 5 Ultra Bell this time, the same reverse manual shift pattern, trans brake and all that. We had FTI do a converter for it. Took the nitrous converter out, and it in the level 4, well, not the nitrous converter, but the level 4 is going to go in the El Camino. I don't think she'll ever use a trans brake, but the reverse manual shift pattern, she'll have fun with that. So, but it does really good, you know. It's really good for what it is. It's got a 35 spline 8.8 under it, built by Accurate Performance over in KCK. 355 gear. I got a 327 gear in another 8.8 that we had cut down if I ever want to swap it out. I just got to get axles and shit for it, but the third member and all that's in it. It's done fine. You know, and like I've said, I've got it braced from right here at the front cab mounts, like ladder braced, all the way down the center. 3 driveline loops, which is mud truck mentality in a hot rod, all the way up into the very back with 1 3/4 tube. So, but we played around with the shocks. Those Viking shocks got 900 fucking settings on them. So we played around with the compression and the rebound on them. Played around with the drag radials, put the slicks back on it, aired them down, aired them up. Played around with that. I haven't done nothing to the front, but we found out real quick, it'll power wheelie in second gear. It'll stand up when you launch it at $4,000 off trans brake. And I really need to get the brakes that we bought for this over the winter on this damn thing. I bought a set of Strange Engineering brakes for the front because it's just got like heavy duty S10 brakes with vented cross-drilled rotors and like a heavy duty caliper. The back are just stock Explorer disc brakes. I bought front brakes. My son bought the back brakes. I've got the coilovers for the front that I bought when I bought those rear Viking shocks, and I got a set of lower control arms from Spawn Engineering that I bought even before that I've never put on it. So, and I got to paint them black because I didn't think about it when I ordered red, and I don't want it looking like a Christmas tree with red and green, so I'm going to paint them black and put them on it. But there's some other things that need to be done. My son rode with me. My wife got in it with me. Now we're out on a big 4-lane road, so I was very careful. But the rest of the cage has got to go in it, and the brakes got to go on it before I take it out and get after it again that hard. Because that's just not being safe. It's actually kind of being stupid in a sense. But like I said, I just launched it once. The rest of them was rolling into second, matting it, then into third a little bit, and then letting out of it. But the truck, it's a monster. It works. It goes straight. I can't complain about what we put together. Did I build it to go race like these back into the track and small tire events and stuff? No. Could I? Yes. Would it be competitive? I don't know. I really don't know. The truck's a little bit heavy, but It makes it. I can tell you, it makes a hell of a lot of fucking power. So, but again, I didn't build it to race. It's my hot rod. It's my toy. But I do want to take it up to US 36 Raceway up in Osborne, Missouri. They're kind of close to us. Take my draggy, go up there like on, I think, Wednesday nights, testing 2 nights from like 6 to 10. Load it up on a trailer, run it up there, run it, play with it, see what it does. But like I said, the cage has got to get done. The brakes got to get done. I've got a car show to do for charity this weekend that they want it and the El Camino to come up to. That the neighbor's part of the group, and he wants me to bring them up there, so we're going to do that. Then after that, we can get busy on that, take it out and beat on it. This truck is about 2 hours away from running. A few things up here to tidy up. I ordered another power steering pump because I went through 3 from O'Reilly's. As soon as I poured fluid in them, they start leaking. So I said, fuck it. I just ordered a Tough Stuff, I think it is, through Speedway for it. And it should be here, I think, Thursday. My fuel tank that I ordered for it is like a Blazer or Suburban tank, but it was stainless. Quite expensive. They keep pushing the back order date. It keeps getting pushed back. I just canceled the order, got the refund, and I ended up buying one for a Jeep that'll fit up. It'll fit up right here between the frame rails, underneath the bed, up between the bed supports. It'll stay above the bottom of the frame. I can put it all in, run my fill neck right over to the fill port on the side of the bed over there. It's 18 gallon. It'll work. I bought a 0 to 90 ohm sender for it because the Jeep sender is like 10 to like 128 ohms. So I got a 0 to 90 ohm sender. Yes, I said fuck it. I sat out here and worked for 4 days straight. Sanding, Scotch-Briting, sealing, priming, painting, and clearing the inside of this bed so it looks like the side of the truck. And then I put the bed liner in it. $352. And it come from some RV and parts house out of Georgia. Is the only one I could find under the rail, 8 foot for an 88 to 98 truck. I was going to rig that fuel up temporarily. I was even going to stick it in this box. I went to Menards and bought this to put it in. Then I thought, I'm not drilling a bunch of holes in my bed to run fuel lines and return line and all this shit in the vent and everything else and hook up like a charcoal canister and all this different shit for it. Why? I just got something put underneath that works. So it's a Jeep JK or what, I don't know. It's for an older Jeep. But anyway, it'll be here tomorrow. And then I'll just use this. I told the wife she can have it put up there on the porch to put charcoal for the barbecue grill and shit in. The grill just needs wiped down, scuffed, and get it ready for paint. The hood's under here. It's already done in 600 primer, ready to paint. I won't paint it back here. I'll take the S10 out and I'll plastic up that room in there and put my fans in and everything because I got a graphic and stuff I'm going to paint on the hood. You'll get to see it when I do that. Let's see. I'll show you what I've got done inside. Yep, these are in here. I test fit the grill so I could get these in the right spot and bolted down. Make sure the grill fits because it's aftermarket. Tranny cooler's done and mounted. Clearance lights are all on up there. I got some LED tail lights and shit for it as soon as I get them put in. Of course, you know I got the windows and locks all redone. This seat's in. I redid the bases for both seats. Yeah, there's a little sag right there, but you won't see it. It's just semi-gloss black Rust-Oleum, but we stripped them to bare metal, sealed them, primed them, painted them. Dash is all done. Gauges are all in. Everything works. Yep, you can see there's a voltmeter. Lights all work. Heater controls work. Turn the brightness up on the dimmer switch. Windshield wipers. Everything works. Had to replace the multi-function switch part under there and the ignition switch. Because when I would turn, and yeah, it's got a dash cover on it. When I would turn the high beams on, the wipers were coming on. And I kept thinking, okay, I know in the past, dealing with these trucks, if you don't have a good ground up here on this headlight wiring, you got two ground wires on each side, if they're not grounded really well, it will make it do that. When you turn on your high beams, it'll feed back through and it'll make the wipers come on and run on low. Well, that wasn't the problem. It was the multifunction switch, and then my little power draw I had was the piece, the part of the ignition switch is down on the column. Had a short or something in it. Because as soon as I changed it, I can take the cable over there and touch it, put my meter on there, and there's no low voltage draw anymore. So, but all we gotta do is put antifreeze in it. Power steering pump don't need to be on it to run the engine. I can run the water pump with the alternator. The belts are all there. Hook the throttle cable up. The kick down cable don't need to be hooked up, but I got the bracket for that. Get the distributor cap on it, the plug wires on it. I'll probably pull the distributor and spin the oil pump again while I turn the motor over, bring it back up to 8 degrees before top dead center, not 0, but 8 degrees. Stab the distributor in it, put everything together. As soon as it gets fuel, it'll light right off. I always stab them at like 8 to 10 degrees before. Then you ain't got to sit there and fuck around trying to get it off of 0 where it'll light. So, then once that's done, we bring it up to temperature. There's no leaks. Shut it down, bolt the flywheel to, or the torque converter to the flex plate. Put the transfer case in, put the new U-joints in the back drive shaft, put the new front drive shaft in it I got from PEM Racing, the same company that made my backup drive shaft for the S10. Get it all put in, then I can get the exhaust and worked around the drive shaft. Hopefully the header won't hit it, because these are notorious for the fucking header collector being in the way of the front drive shaft. This has got a 6-inch lift on it, which might make it even a little worse. So, and no, don't ever drop your transfer case. Them little spacers you can buy, don't put that bullshit in there. It's going to make shit worse. I've done this so many times over the years when I was younger. Lifted square bodies, lifted Ford 67 to 72s, 67 to 72 Chevys. Don't put those 1-inch or 2-inch spacers in there and space the cross member down from the frame. Don't do it. Just don't do it. If you need to do something, shim the front out and roll it over or something, but don't do that shit. So, anyway, that's where I'm at with everything. Ain't really nothing else to say or show. All it's done is rain its ass off today. I was going to get this out, try to get you guys a little bit of video of it. Actually doing something this evening. My son was going to stand on the sidelines and record while I made some licks on it so I could show you guys everything. And then I had that little zip tied up bullshit there so I could have you guys watch the boost gauge and the boost controller down there so you can see how much boost it's making. But sky opened up and it started pouring ass rain. So maybe Saturday when we do the car show thing, afterwards or before, we'll get a little rowdy with it just so I can show you what it's doing. But anything hardcore will not be till the brakes and the cage are in it. That's just the way it is. I promised my wife, and sorry. That's more important to me than taking this out and getting stupid with it and hurting myself or somebody else. But, which, you know, I go around the block and I'll get on it a little bit over here because there's nobody over there. And I know the area. I know I'm safe right there. But as far as getting on it anywhere else, I go outside of town, out here on the highway where it's 4-lane and a big median. There's no one around when I do it. And other than that, it'll have to go to the track. So, but do I want to race it? Yeah, I wouldn't mind racing it a little bit just to have some fun. I ain't out to beat nobody or try to be Mr. Barney Badass or nothing, but it'd be fun. I ain't raced in so long, I'd be so rusty. So, but anyhow. Oh, and we turned the rev limiter back up to 7,000. So, it'll handle it. No problem. I've had it there many a time already when it was NA. So, anyway, everybody, stay safe. God bless. It's about 11:30 Monday night. I'm going to the house to go to bed. We got to get up early, go to the courthouse, tag the wife's Tacoma, And then I got to go to the boneyard and find a wiring harness that goes from the firewall all the way to the back and plugs in for the fucking tail lights. So, until the next one, later.